So as the Eagles hit the practice field today, we had a flood of roster moves happening. And we can say for sure, one position battle is over, whether that's good or bad. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Dingbat here, and hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. We gotta get it there. So the Eagles had a flood of roster moves today. And one thing we can say for certain, one position battle is over. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a very bad thing, or if there is maybe, just maybe, another shoe to drop. Let's hope so. But before we get into this, we got a ton to talk about. Make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled, Eagles content creator in all of the internet. If you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you so much for all the support you give to me. This is actually the second time I'm filming this. I just learned a valuable lesson with this microphone about where you put it, but because I just had a whole video where it was just like, so yeah, I have to refilm this again. I also want to apologize to everybody for Mark Holmes and you today. I for some reason, I thought the Eagles weren't practicing. I don't know what it was. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. So I had a video, a Mariota Foles video that I put out because I thought there was no practice today, and I wake up and I'm like, oh crap, they're practicing. So I apologize for Mark Holmes and you. And speaking of Mark Holmes, boy, he's about to get a double moonwalking. He is talking a lot of Eagles garbage, and he's trying to really bait me. This guy, I want everybody to see this. This guy is trying to bait me on purpose. And then when I go at him, he is going to complain that I attack him for no reason. Just watch, because he is pushing my buttons now. I ain't no cop pizzle. I will double moonwalk that ass. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's talk about some of the things that happened with the Eagles. Flurry of activities before we had practice today. So here's what the Eagles did, and I'll explain why they did some of it and what I think some of the other stuff means. Eagles have signed defensive tackle Robert Cooper, defensive tackle Marvin Wilson. We've seen him with the Eagles before. Defensive tackle Caleb Sanders. Notice 3 defensive tackles. Linebacker Tyreek Maddox-Williams. Linebacker Quentin Bell. 2 linebackers. Waived injured wide receiver Tyree Cleveland. Defensive tackle Noah Ellis. Cornerback Zeke McPherson. And released Greedy Williams and punter Ty Zentner. Now, when you look at it, the 3 defensive tackles, the couple linebackers, most of these signings have to do with the final preseason games. These guys are going to be just bodies for the final preseason games. You're definitely not going to see your starters. You're most likely not going to see your second team. So they need bodies to go out and play in this game. That's why you're seeing the flood of moves. The Tyree Cleveland move, the Zeke McPherson move, those more are procedural. Those, they have to do that in order to get them to the IR the way that they want to do that. So that's why they got rid of those guys. Noah Ellis, I'm not really sure about. I'm not sure if he's injury related. But cornerback Greedy Williams, now, this is not a surprise to me. We literally talked about this last week. As a matter of fact, I had a couple people in my comments tell me I was nuts because I said there's a chance he could get cut. Because you can't deny how good Josh Jobe, how good Eli Ricks, how good Mario Goodrich have been. They've all been better than him. So why not cut Greedy Williams and let him go find a team while he still can? You know, he'll land somewhere. So that's what the Eagles did. As far as the Ty Zentner, or as they call him, Legatron, I call him Ankletron, he's gone. That means Aaron Sipos is your punter. That means the position battle is over. It's absolutely over. No other punter? I don't know that I feel comfortable with Sipos. I haven't seen anything out of Sipos in preseason games. We have heard that he's not looked great at practices. And Zentner, nothing either. Why not call Matt Ariza and get him in here? The kid can punt the ball. Get a punter. I am very concerned about the punter, and my hope is that there is another shoe to drop before this whole thing goes down. So, I mean, we'll see, okay? Now, that's basically what's going on, I think. Couple procedurals. The Zentner thing is boom. Greedy Williams, I think they did him a favor by cutting him early. And then the rest of the ones are just their bodies. Most of these guys aren't going to... You're only going to see Jalen Carter. You're only going to see Jordan Davis. I'm probably not doing a lot of good to promote my live stream for next week, but it's just the truth. Now, today at practice... And God, I can't believe I forgot this team was practicing today. Not practicing. Here was the injury report for today. Britton Covey, hamstring. Fletcher Cox, knee soreness. Mekhi Gardner, ankle. Kyron Johnson, appendectomy. Oh my God. Moro Ojomo, concussion. Hassan Reddick, thumb. Trey Sermon, ankle. I wonder if that's going to be a problem for him. Nolan Smith, shoulder. Greg Ward, ankle. Quez Watkins, hamstring. So that was a lot of guys did not practice today. That's for sure. And really, today's practice it wasn't that heavy of a practice. I don't believe they had any 11-on-11s. A lot of situational work towards the end of practice. They did have 7-on-7s briefly, but it wasn't a big deal. Some of the things that I took out of camp and what we heard. We talked about Aaron Sipos winning that job, but I think the linebacking job is over too. Okay, this I don't know for sure. This is just more my speculation. But Dean and Cunningham were your starters at linebacker. They took first-team reps. The Eagles like Zach Cunningham, and I love NAKOBE Dean. NAKOBE Dean had 17 snaps, and he goes out and he makes a great play to stop a Cleveland Brown touchdown. He forces a fumble, and people say to me, well, what did he do? He hit the ball out? Dude, you've got to read the play. You got to get into the backfield, and he's quick enough to do it. I think people are really hard on NAKOBE Dean. I think NAKOBE Dean's going to be a stud this year. I really do. And I think Cunningham signing may be sneaky as hell, because a few years ago, didn't he lead? And I don't say this knowing 100% sure, but I thought I heard somewhere that he led the league in tackles. And then he got cut from Tennessee, money reasons, and he was coming off an injury. He may be a steal for us, okay? And if he could play to what he normally played last year, I think you could actually have a better pairing of linebackers than you did a year ago. That's the truth. But those guys are starting. Some other interesting things. Jalen Carter, all first-team reps today. That's because Fletcher Cox was out with a knee soreness, but he took all the first-team reps. He actually even took second-team reps at one point. The guy took second-team reps and actually dropped back into coverage and actually covered Deion Kane. What can't this kid do? Kid's an absolute stud. That's why I'm betting that he is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. And they were talking to Lane Johnson about guys who he thought might have a breakout season. Here's what Lane Johnson said. Lane Johnson was asked Pound Eagles players who could have a breakout season. After mentioning a few offensive linemen, he said this. I quote, I think Jalen Carter can make a lot of noise this year. I really do. He's a guy who could play right now, play at a very high level. He went on to say that he reminds him of a big Geno Atkins. That is a hell of a compliment. Big Geno Atkins. That's what he reminds him of. If that's what we're getting from him, I'm telling you, you want to win a little cash. Defensive Rookie of the Year right there. So Jalen Carter, first-team reps. He's going to make a lot of noise. Probably won't play this week, unfortunately. Sidney Brown, another guy getting first-team reps. Now, he's split between first-team and second-team. But when you look at Jalen Carter and you look at Sidney Brown, you look at where both those guys came from first day of camp. They're both shot up the depth chart. And I still think there's a shot that come week one, Sidney Brown is your starting safety, or at least he's getting a lot of playing time. That position is going to be wide open. So both those guys you got to be very impressed with. During 7-on-7s, Jalen Hurts came out, was accurate, hits Goddard on a touchdown. He threw a pass. He had one pass picked off by Slay. That went off Devontae Smith's helmet, actually. It was a good pass, but it bounced off his helmet. Slay was able to pick that off. Jalen Hurts, pretty accurate on 7-on-7s. Mariota comes out. He fires a bomb to Devin Allen, 35 yards. Why they don't use Devin Allen more is beyond me, especially in the punt return game. I can't believe they didn't send him deep on one play last week and take a shot. So Devin Allen gets a 35-yard touchdown to Mariota. Mariota comes back, winds up throwing an interception to Bradbury. Mariota is consistently inconsistent in the passing game, but I will say this. I do not expect, and I know I did a video talking about should the Eagles go out and get Nick Foles or Malik Willis. That is just it's more of my question to you and telling you my concerns about it. What I really think is going to happen is I think they're going to stick with Mariota. They're going to go into the season with Mariota, and I think Mariota will be your number 2 quarterback. We've just got to hope that he doesn't have to play or that he figures it out and gets it going, because I still believe somewhere he can be more accurate than what he's been. I believe he can be better. So he'll be your number 2 quarterback. And another sign that tells you that they're sticking with him is that Jalen Hurts and Mariota took all the snaps today. Ian Book and McKee took 0 snaps. Well, they might have had it. No, they took 0 snaps. I'm sorry. They took 0 snaps today. And I think this is going to continue this week. I don't think you'll see McKee and Book get a ton of snaps. They'll get some, but they won't get a ton. It'll mostly be Jalen Hurts and Mariota because they don't have any plans to play Jalen Hurts or Mariota come this preseason game. They're going to let McKee and Book get all their reps during the preseason game. So that tells you Mariota is staying on this roster as the number 2. And it just is what it is. I'm not going to worry about it that much. Jalen Hurts is out there. We're good to go. But I expect McKee to start. I expect Book to finish the game. And that's why you saw those guys get no reps today. They'll get their reps Thursday in the final preseason game. Another note I want to talk about really quick. You had James Bradberry once again taking slot reps in the slot. So I really wonder if they're going to, when they play certain teams like maybe the Giants or maybe the Chiefs, teams that have maybe their best receiver being a tight end, I wonder if you're going to see Bradberry cover some of those guys. I think that would be an absolutely great move, something I've talked about before. So we'll see. But Bradberry getting some reps in the slot today, I think, are very interesting. That's pretty much it. Like I said, it wasn't that heavy of a practice. A lot of situational practicing, and we'll be back later. I'll have the Philly Shakedown podcast later today. Hopefully, I didn't screw up the sound on this recording. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how we vision. We're all just living in it. I got to tell you, I'm very happy that we're going to have Eli Ricks, Job, Goodrich. I'm glad that these guys all made an impact on his team and are going to play. I think we got a really underrated young defensive back group, and I think that they're going to be very, very good in the future. They just need reps, they need to play, and they need time to develop. But I think getting rid of Greedy Williams was the right move, and, I would not be surprised if we see some more interesting veteran cuts that come when they cut the roster down. With that said, Denzel Washington out.